Meghalaya government extends curfew hours in Shillong. Chief Minister Conrad Sangma announces judicial probe into Sunday's incident. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma asked Industry Department to chalk out new industrial policy. A grateful nation remembers former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Which tributes paid to the leader? Taliban takes control of war-torn Afghanistan. India cancels flights to Kabul. And in cricket, in second test being played at Lord's, Men in Blue set a victory target of 272 runs for England. A very good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin from the studios of DDK Guwahati. This is Anupa. Now the stories in detail. In news from Northeast first, Meghalaya government has decided to extend the ongoing curfew imposed in Shillong agglomeration of East Khasi Hills district for another 24 hours. Citing law and order situation, following a meeting with cabinet ministers in Shillong, Chief Minister Conrad Sangma told reporters that the decision to extend curfew was taken to prevent any untoward incident. The curfew will conclude at 5 a.m. on August 18 and the internet suspension will continue for the next few days. He said that based on the aspects of the series of events that has unfolded, including the death of former General Secretary of Hainit Trip National Liberation Council in the recent bomb blast in Laimukram Market, the state government has decided to conduct a judicial inquiry. Talking about the letter sent by Home Minister L. Rimbui to relieve him from Department of Home, Sangma said a decision on the issue is yet to be taken. In a related development in Meghalaya, unknown miscreants hurled 2 petrol bombs near the private residence of Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma at 3rd Mile at Upper Shillong on Sunday evening. Chief Minister Sangma, however, does not stay here as he stays at the Chief Minister's official bungalow at Polo at the capital town. Sources said both the petrol bombs were thrown outside the private residence of the Chief Minister. In Assam, Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma today asked the Industry Department to work on a new industrial policy 2021, synchronizing with the 75th year of India's independence. Speaking at the cohort of 3.0 program of Assam Startup, the Nest Incubation Center in Guwahati, Dr. Sharma said startups must focus on Assam's agri-products such as Bhut Jolokia, tea, Kazi Nemu and Johar rice to bridge the gap between farmers and buyers. He said he was delighted to have met bright young entrepreneurs driven by the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. State's youth have become job creators now. He lauded the role of Nest for what he called a commendable job and it's engaged. Industry Minister Sondra Mohan Patwari was also present on the occasion.
2017 চনত startup policy আৰম্ভ কৰা হৈছিল আৰু এই startupৰ সৈতে জড়িত বিভিন্ন ব্যক্তি সংগঠনে এতিয়ালৈকে প্ৰায় 42 কোটি টকা ৰেভিনিউ উপাৰ্জন কৰিবলৈ সক্ষম হৈছে।
Still in Assam, Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma today inaugurated a state-of-the-art multi-level parking on Mahendra Mohan Sodri Hospital campus in Guwahati. The parking facility has been built at an estimated cost of 11 crore rupees by the Guwahati Metropolitan Development Authority (GMDA). The facility can accommodate 250 cars at a time. GMDA Minister Ashok Singhal also attended the program.
গৃহ আৰু নগৰ পৰিক্ৰমা বিভাগৰ উদ্যোগত আৰু জিএমডিএৰ সৌজন্যত মহেন্দ্ৰ মোহন চৌধুৰী চিকিৎসালয় প্ৰাংগণত প্ৰায় 11 কোটি টকা ব্যয় কৰি এটা মাল্টি ষ্টৰিড কাৰ পাৰ্কিং নিৰ্মাণ কৰি উলিওৱা হৈছে।
The nation is remembering Bharat Ratna former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee on his 3rd death anniversary today. He passed away on this day in 2018. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Union Home Minister Amit Shah and other senior leaders visited Vajpayee's memorial, Sadaiv Atal, in the national capital this morning and paid their floral tributes. Later, in a tweet, the Vice President said Atalji was a visionary politician, brilliant orator, learned literature, who devoted his whole life in selfless service to the nation. The Prime Minister recalled his warm personality, endearing nature, wit and humour, and his contribution to national progress. He said Atal Bihari Vajpayee lives in the hearts and minds of the citizen. Born on 25 December 1924 in Gwalior, Atal Bihari Vajpayee's contribution towards public life and India's development will always be cherished. On the other hand, in Northeast, Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh today paid tributes to the former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee Ji on his day. In a series of tweets, he said a celebrated poet, great statesman and an outstanding orator, Atalji has dedicated his entire life in the service of the country. His idols will always continue to be a guiding light. Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio also paid tributes to Vajpayee on his death anniversary. In a tweet, Rio said, and I quote, "When he visited Nagaland in 2003, his historic statement recognizing the unique history and culture of Nagas was a defining moment in the relationship between the Nagas and the rest of India in our common quest for peace." Unquote. In Arunachal Pradesh, Flybig Airlines successfully conducted a trial landing on Sunday at Teju Airport. In his tweet, Chief Minister Pema Khandu said he was happy to see that it is the second airport of the state getting connected with passenger service aircraft under the Udan scheme launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He thanked the central government for expediting the matter. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur, Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat and Minister of State for Jal Shakti Prahlad Singh Patel today launched Season 2 of Rag Rag Mein Ganga. The first episode will be broadcasted from the 21st of August on Doordarshan. Speaking on the occasion, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said Ramayan and Mahabharat serials were very popular among the audience during the lockdown because they connected people with their heritage. Rag Rag Mein Ganga Season 1 was also watched by a huge audience. He said the content chosen should be right so that Doordarshan can grab more eyeballs.
गंगा के गौमुख से लेकर गंगा सागर तक के लंबे सफर को जो दूरदर्शन ने 2019 में रग रग में गंगा सीजन 1 के द्वारा जिस सुंदरता और विस्तार के साथ प्रदर्शित किया है उसके लिए मैं टीम को बधाई भी देता हूं.
In Afghanistan, the Taliban have taken over the capital Kabul and claimed victory in the country. A spokesperson for the group has told a news network that their fighters have seized the presidential palace. They claim that the government has collapsed and President Ashraf Ghani has fled. They declared the war is over. Kabul has descended into chaos and residents and foreign nationals have been trying to escape. Kabul was the last major city in Afghanistan to hold out against the Taliban offensive, which began months ago, but has accelerated in the space of days as they rapidly gain control over territories. Meanwhile, Air India will not operate any flight to Kabul due to the closure of Afghan airspace. An Air India official informed that the flight, which was earlier scheduled to take off from Delhi to Kabul today, has been cancelled. Earlier, the Afghanistan airspace was declared uncontrolled by the Kabul airport authorities and transit flights have been asked to avoid the airspace. In cricket, on the last day of the second test between India and England, the men in blue have set a victory target of 272 runs for the home team. India declared their second innings at 298 for 8. Earlier, Indians scored 364 runs in their first innings and England made 391 runs. Over 54 crore, 58 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Health Minister has said that more than 17,43,000 vaccine doses were administered during the last 24 hours. The COVID recovery rate is now 97.48%. Around 36,000 COVID patients recovered in the last 24 hours. Till now, more than 3 crore 14 lakh people have been recovered from COVID-19. In the last 24 hours, India has reported over 32,937 new cases and 417 deaths due to COVID. In the COVID scenario in the northeast, Arunachal Pradesh reported a caseload of 1,920 active cases, followed by 49,176 discharge cases. The death account for 252. Assam has 7,973 active cases, while the release cases topped at 5,65,087. Tally for the death is 5,492. Manipur records 6,574 active cases and 1,13,000 discharge cases. The death toll is 1,710. Saddled with 4,066 active cases, Meghalaya has a caseload of 66,515 cured cases. The death accounts for 1,227. In Mizoram, there are 9,836 active cases, even as 38,693 were discharged. The death tallied at 182. Burdened with 1,224 active cases, Nagaland has 27,326 cured cases, while the death account for 601. Sikkim has 2,195 active cases, followed by 26,150 released cases. The death toll is 361. Finally, Tripura records 1,538 active cases, 78,992 discharge cases, while the death numbered at 781. To end the news, main points once again. Meghalaya government extends curfew hours in Shillong. Chief Minister Conrad Sangma announces judicial probe into Sunday's incidents. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma asks Industry Department to chalk out new industrial policy. A grateful nation remembers former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Which tributes paid to the leader? Taliban take control of war-torn Afghanistan. India cancels flights to Kabul. And in cricket, in second test being played at Lords, Men in Blue set a victory target of 272 runs for England. That brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.